Hello, everyone. Welcome in. I am Peaceful Nick the Medium. I'm an evidential medium helping you heal from the loss of your loved ones. And I am joined by the amazing and incredible Aunt Jen. Hello, Aunt Jen. How are you?
Good morning.
Good
I'm doing
morning.
very well. Thank you very much. I was up before the sun today, which I really love when I can make that work for myself. I love to watch the sun come up, watch the day begin. How are
Yeah,
you doing?
I am fabulous. I have had, good morning, Vivian. Say hello when you pop in. I have had some of the best days of my life, and I mean that literally. I'm not being funny or sarcastic. I welcomed, not me, I didn't give birth, but my daughter in law gave birth to our newest granddaughter. And so now I have two granddaughters. My sons both each have a daughter with their lovely wives, who I love dearly. And we spent the entire weekend together. My older son and daughter in law drove 7 or 8 hours to be there for the birth.
Mm.
And it was just such an honor to my family that they did that. And I could just cry if I keep talking about it because it's so beautiful. Everybody's healthy, 10 fingers, 10 toes, all of that. And I couldn't be happier to see my sons grow into fatherhood. And
Mm.
then this weekend, I'm going up to see my first granddaughter's first birthday party. So
So
I'm very
exciting. I'm so happy. Congratulations again. And it's just a beautiful new realm of like new souls coming in that you get to have experiences with, and being able to have experience with girls this round
oh,
versus boys. Like, so it's very, and then also the separation between being a parent and being a grandparent. So
yes,
very
yeah,
big difference.
very
And
big
so I'm
difference.
very, very excited for you. Mhm.
Mhm.
And those girls. Hmm.
And I told Aunt Jen before we popped on, I shocked her. I hurt her feelings. I said, I said, you better watch out. I got a new best friend. She's like, what? What? Because over the weekend I bonded with my older granddaughter, the 1 year old, and because she's got a little stranger danger, of course, at that age. And we finally bonded, and it was the greatest
Right.
experience of my life. And I told everyone she's my new best friend. So I had to
Yeah.
tell Jen she better watch out. She better watch out. A new best friend is in town. So
And I welcomed that. After
at first you didn't know what I was talking about. You're like, what are you talking about? What
I
are you
was
you
lost,
better watch out.
a little lost. But now I'm like, oh, that sounds fabulous. I support that. I hope you two besties for the resties have a great time.
Oh, and I can't wait to see her and celebrate her birthday. I'm so
Mm,
excited.
that's exciting.
Yes. And today we're going to talk about nature and healing. So, any updates for you, Aunt Jen? Anything going on in your world that you want to chat about before we get into nature healing?
Um, the last I made an announcement a few weeks ago saying I had a few spots open, and there's one left. So if anybody feels drawn to see and discover what might be something that I can support you with, I still have a spot available to work with someone. And other than that, like, life is good.
So
You
what exactly which spot is open, self-love or meditation? Like
It's
which one?
whatever. I mean, anyone can choose what they want to. And actually, this new thing that I started thinking about. So this is live news. Live news.
Live news. Stay
You know
tuned.
me, always trying to think of like different things. Like I feel like, with regards to self-love, which I think that it would be great to have another discussion about that, self-love and
Yes.
self-care. Like a lot of times I think that we get a misconception of what that looks like. Because I mean, creating boundaries for someone is self-love. So it's like we get a little confused that it's all baths and, taking ourselves on a date, and that's a piece of it. But I've started to have a new kind of concept with regards to like what I'm doing or what I'm offering or what's happening. And so I look at it as like I'm a doula. and I'm helping you to birth yourself into your new life.
That's amazing.
And so, what do you need support with as you're birthing into this new life of whatever that looks like? And then I've got this toolbox of all of these different things to be able to support and help. And it really started to resonate with me because I do have a desire to be a death doula as well.
Yeah, I do too.
And so then I was just like, what are you really doing? And I'm like, you're kind of a doula. Like, and I did always want to do being a doula. But then I was like, why don't people waking me up in the middle of the night? Or like, so I had to get clear about that. Well, those are important. We don't think about those things when you want to do something. Like you're just like, oh, I'm going to do it. And then it's like, well, no, there's things that go along with it. And so for me, it was just a hard no. And so I look at it that way. If someone's, moving into a new life and they need a doula per se, or someone that can help to, as they're birthing themselves into that, then I might be someone that could be helpful.
Like a self-love doula or a life doula. I love that. We need to market that ASAP. ASAP. I want to say hello to Holly and Lucille and Vivian and whoever else is here. Say hello. We appreciate you being here. If you like this content, please subscribe to our channels if that's something you feel comfortable with. It is totally free and it helps us. Click likes if you're liking the stuff. Click like. We would appreciate that greatly. I will say I have no spots open for my mentorships. I am completely full, probably overbooked myself a little. I've got a spring gnat in here that's driving me crazy. So if you see me, that's Florida. And I have a new alligator in my pond. So stay tuned for pictures of that.
Love it.
They keep taking them out and they keep coming back. Hi, Kelly. So I love that. Self-love doula, life doula. We got to get on that immediately.
It just felt like real authentic, because it just felt like, self-love coach, like, yes, that's one piece of it. Like it just wasn't really landing for me. And I was like, what really is this? And
coach is so overused and doesn't.
Yeah. Like, I feel like I'm more of a doula because I'm by the side, I'm helping you birth yourself into a new life. Whether if some people are like, what are you talking about? It's like, well, then that probably doesn't resonate with you. But if you're like, oh my gosh, I understand what you're saying, then we're resonating. Like, and then that means it could be the right match. Someone else that it doesn't resonate with, there's no issues. It just isn't the right place for you or the right fit. So, but it just felt way more authentic for myself of like what I'm trying to offer, because it's not just self-love. It is meditate. It is so many different aspects of like what that looks like. And so from there, we find a package that works for you. It's very it's not like, oh, I've got an agenda. I don't ever have an agenda. I have an idea of the different tools that are available, but the agenda is based on the soul that shows up on the other side. What are you looking for? How can I support you in this process? And so that's kind of how that works. So yeah, that was live news. But
I'm just blown away by that. And I think it's perfect because coach doesn't describe what the breadth of what you're doing, the spectrum of tools in your toolkit. Coach is so overused, and doula is so much more appropriate because you have a million different A, B, C, D, E, F, G, all the way to Z and back around again. That is so, I'm just blown away and I'm in love with it. I'm absolutely in love with it.
Well, thank you. That was live news for you.
I am excited, and everybody in the chat is very excited. Extraordinary concept, Lucille says, run with it. Yep, absolutely. I agree.
I am. I'm going to. You really it just kind of came to me is that one of the young ladies I get to show up with, she is wanting to be a doula. And that's where it kind of came together. So I'm like, I wanted to be one too, but I think you are one. You want to be a death doula. And I'm like, wait, hold on. Like, it's just one of those of like how it just kind of makes sense.
Yep.
So where it goes from there, we'll see, but you've heard it first. I believe that's what I'm really doing is helping people to birth their new life, whatever that may look like.
I just could cry. But I've cried a lot this week from happy tears.
Yes,
everything is just, the world is so chaotic, and these conversations are so helpful.
Mm.
And if you pay attention to the good things that are happening in your life, you can tune out all of the negative spears that are coming at us. Now, I am aware all of that is still happening. I'm not bypassing it by any means, but I'm not sitting in it. And
Yep.
so the fact that you also are choosing not to sit in it, you're getting this download about this doula. I love it. I love it. I love it. Got some comments. Vivian said, maybe when more people learn the truth of life and death, we can call death doula a homecoming doula instead. That's a great point.
Ooh, I love that.
And Wisdom Seeker said, a doula brings caring and compassion at the heart of it. Exactly. And that's exactly what you do.
Mm. I mean, that's my goal. You know, if I'm achieving it, we'll see. But I mean, that's really the goal. I'm just trying to help other people feel better about themselves as they're journeying, whatever that looks like, and make you feel less, like embrace the fact that you don't fit in. Whereas before we're trying to always fit in, right? It's like, okay, how can I help you just be more comfortable with not fitting in as a superpower? And what does that look like for yourself? And it, changes and goes. Sometimes we're doing really well. Sometimes there's a big contraction, right? It's like, sometimes we have to rest, right? It's like, I can't push anymore, whatever. Like, it's kind of the same concept. How long does it take? Like, I mean, it could take a long time. Like, there's no right or wrong way to do something. It's really your own way, figuring out what that looks like for you.
And how you can't make people make the changes. That's the whole point with all of coaching, being a self-love doula, being a medium, whatever, a therapist, whatever, it doesn't matter. The person has to choose to make the changes in their life. And I want to mention something about not fitting in. I think many people who are watching who've put comments in the chat, and hello, Gina, welcome in, welcome back. I think a lot of people feel that they've never fit in here.
Yeah.
This world is, and so all of us are finding each other in these communities. Like, I always felt like an alien in my family. I always, I thought for a while I was adopted, but then I realized I look just like my dad, so I can't be adopted. So I'm like, that's not the problem. Why do I feel like an alien here? So I love all of that. And I want to say, I always recommend to my clients who are stuck, and I know some of them are here today, go sit in nature. We are so indoors all the time, especially winter's just ending. We just had the spring equinox. My granddaughter was born on the spring equinox, and I could not be happier. My other granddaughter's birthday is tomorrow, and my son's birthday was yesterday. So now we have 3 birthdays in 6 days forever. So I always recommend people go out in nature. If you are stuck, if you are in the house, if you work from home, especially if you work from home, or if you work in an office that's just, no windows, get out in nature. Even if it's snowy where you are through the winter, go stand outside for 5 minutes. You can stand outside for 5 minutes unless you're, it's 30 below zero, which is, not a lot of people live there. Go get in the sun. Of course, use covering. Don't get skin cancer, of course. Protect yourself, but get outside, touch a tree, look at the plants. And nature, we come from nature. We belong in nature. We were not evolved to sit in a house and stare at a screen 24 hours a day. That is not what our body is programmed to do. So of course we're dysregulated. Of course we are. So when in your self-love doulaing, in your toolbox, how do you, what lessons or what projects, activities, what do you tell people to do as far as nature?
Well, I mean, it's so vast, right? And so it's like figuring out and finding what works for you. One of the ones, I mean, there's many, I would say. I really enjoy grounding on grass, being able to put your bare feet on the grass and actually just, using it to go ahead and neutralize your energy, giving back what's not serving you, going ahead and receiving what is serving you through the soles of your feet on some grass. And I know that, you know, some people will be like, I don't have grass. They sell a piece of grass at the pet store that they have pets. So I'm like, you know, if it means something like that, I've done that before when I haven't been able to access grass. Like maybe that's something that could work for you, just because the power and the benefit with regards to that can be extremely powerful and extremely healing. One of the other things I really enjoy, I mean, there's so much about nature. I love hearing birds sing. Love it. Love hearing birds sing. And ever since I heard that birds actually only really sing when they feel safe, it has amplified the sound for me, because then I end up, you know, a lot of times there's a lot of different personal work you can do by tapping in with yourself. And so I'm just reminding myself that I'm safe when I hear. So it's a great, not only is it a great connection of hearing the sound, right, of these birds that are making this beautiful music, but I'm immediately reminded that I'm safe. And so then I can remind myself that I am safe. I am safe in my own body right now. I am safe right here, just from listening to the sounds of the birds. I personally, like, I will throw all these ideas out there and then listening to like what works for somebody else, right? Like, what is it that might help you? Like, what are your desires of what is your draw and desires as far as nature goes? And then the third one that I think of right off the top of my head is I love trees. Love them. And when I felt like, I mean, I've always really loved trees and always been attracted to them, but I think that I upped them years ago when I found myself really craving a desire to have somebody that I could hug first thing in the morning and last thing at night, and being able to have that. And so I did that myself. And I had this tree that was right by my house. And it was the first thing I would hug as I was on my way to work. And it was the last thing that I'd hug on my way back. And it really, it was a way of being able to give myself what I needed without sitting there feeling bad for myself for not having a human soul that was there. And so the tree and I definitely exchanged. I mean, I am a tree hugger. I love hugging trees. I love putting my spine up against the back of a tree and getting a transfusion through the tree, through my feet. Like, I mean, I love looking at flowers, not necessarily picking them, just looking at them, the beauty of them. Like, it just is, when you sit there and really look at a flower or even any of this stuff, it can really make your mind go like, what? Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And I enjoy that perspective of like bringing myself out of my usual chatter per se, or like trying to make sense of things and literally not being able to make sense of it, of being like, well, I mean, look at this. Like, how do you even explain something like this? And like, so I really enjoy that flowers when I'm trying to bring in the beauty, plus the smell, right? The senses, anything like that has to do with all of the senses is definitely what will be brought up as far as options for someone to connect with nature. Let's tap into all the senses and let's find where that sense connects with you, that you can use that as your everyday life and as your healing process.
I love that. And we have some comments coming in. And I also want to talk about trees and birds in just a second. Gina said, I don't have grass at home, but I'm out today in an area that has grass. I'm going to sit in the grass later. Haven't done that in years. Very good. And she's going to hug a tree. I love it. And Wisdom Seeker said, nature helps her so much. It grounds her. I'd be lost without it. I feel the same. And I just read, so science lesson 101 here, you know, I got to do it.
Please.
There was an article.
I don't have it. Like, we need that. We need that perspective.
So I was reading an article the other day about this new study that came out about trees and birds. And
you tell.
When the birds are chirping, you can Google this, birds and tree study. When the birds are chirping, the musical notes or chirps or whatever they're putting out helps open up the parts of the tree to bring in more of the gases and to make more oxygen. So they have a symbiotic relationship in that way, which is kind of extraordinary because I love birds and trees too. And I used to sit out in my backyard when I lived in Savannah, Georgia, and beautiful millions of trees in my backyard. And the birds, everybody be like, they're so loud. I'm like, oh my God, gimme, gimme. I want
Mm,
more, more, more. Like I could lay on a raft, watch clouds, and listen to birds for eternity and
good.
never, ever get sick of it. Like it's so beautiful. And then you also mentioned getting a patch of grass. You can go to Home Depot, you can go to Lowe's, and it's like $2. It might be $5 now because inflation, but you can get a patch of, 2x2 grass pretty cheap. And just put it on your patio. You got to keep it watered, it'll die. So, so make sure you can water it wherever you put it. But being outside is the best. And if you can't do that, or you don't want to do that, or you don't have a place in your home to put a patch of grass,
Mm,
you can go to a pet store and look at the pets.
mhm,
Touch the pets, see if you can hold a dog or a cat or a puppy or something, or volunteer at the SPCA. They
mm,
always need volunteers
mm,
and to be around pets because pets are very present and very grounding.
mm.
And pets are from nature, right? Anything naturey, do it. Just do it. Go be in nature.
Oh, try, at least the attempt too. Like if you can't do it and it's something that's a little bit harder for you to do, or it's out of your realm, even just going ahead and thinking, okay, I want to do something with nature today. And let's say that you don't, at least you actually had that conscious thought and your pattern interrupting. And so that's something to celebrate as you move into the flow of connecting with nature a little bit more, that finds what works for you.
Mhm.
Really.
Right. And the just awareness, as
Mhm.
Eckhart Tolle says, the awareness of understanding, oh, pause, I'm aware, I need to do this.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. The awareness really makes a difference.
Mhm.
Um, Wisdom Seeker said, beautiful Aunt Jen, that so resonates with me. I hug them all the time at the risk of looking like a nutcase. I do it anyway. And that's the beauty, right? Who cares what anybody thinks? The other people who are judging you are actually the nutcases. So
It
they can,
still is a challenge to think that, like, it's definitely process to walk yourself through to get to that place where you're not concerned what other people kind of think. And so it's important to just mark your trail as you're kind of on your way to get there, because it is a process. We do worry about what other people think. We do look a little bit like, but depending on where you come from, I always look like I'm out of my mind. So, I mean, it's like, there's just another normal. We'll just add that one on where it's like, now maybe I'm not as out of my mind as people thought I was. Right. So it's like, and again, it's not for me to say. We don't know what goes on in someone else's head. You don't know how someone reacts. And generally speaking, what I've found, whether it be true or not, is anybody who has some kind of a strong impact with regards to that and comes across negative tends to be like, you've actually heightened something within them, yet their usual response is to be negative. And so that's what they're doing. But in actuality, they're not really thinking that you're crazy. They're like, huh, maybe I want to do that. But they
yes,
don't know because of the program that they've created for
yes,
themselves. And
yes,
so they're kind of going along that way. So that's another reason to kind of embrace your wild side of being, because you don't really know how someone, even if you think you know how they're reacting, you really don't know. Like, it's like, I always think about that. I used to always say, like, you don't know about that kid in the back of the class when you think they're not listening. And actually, that's the one that listened and you impacted the most. So it's
yes,
really important to be able to do that. And also, like, whether or not you realize it, the negative aspect, the other side, right? The other flip side of it is positive. You don't know how many people you're impacting of giving them permission. Oh my gosh, you can
yes,
hug a tree. Look, that
yes,
girl's doing it. I'm gonna do it. Like, so it's like, it's kind of like all of it, and it's your process to be going through. So I love that you love hugging trees too, because I got to tell you, they are like, I mean, that's what I did for my birthday. Like, I don't even know. I think it was 40 or something. Muir Woods. Like, it's just, where do you want to go? I just wanted to go to Muir
oh,
Woods and hug
yes,
as many trees as I could. And like, when I see them, and like, I remember people thought that I was a little out there, which that's normal. But when I took myself to Spain in 2012, And I said that I wrote I kept a blog for myself, and I had written, I remember, I'll never forget it. I had written that I'd fallen madly in love, and it was with a tree. This tree was like, oh, I mean, the roots came out into like, oh, it was the most magnificent tree I've ever like been with. And I would go sit with it, and I'd go like, and it was like, I was totally in love with the tree, like literally fell in love with a tree in Spain. And it's like, oh, she fell in love with a tree. Okay. Like, I hope Jen's doing okay.
Well, I think that's wonderful. And trees, and another science lesson, plants were here for billions of years before we were, and we would not have oxygen, period, dot, end of story. Absolutely no, without plants, period. That's an absolute fact. There was no oxygen on this planet before plants evolved, and plants were here for billions of years before the first animal creature, zooplankton or something, evolved. So we should be grateful to the plants, and they are extraordinary beings. They are not just some thing sitting over there. They are the potential. Their biochemistry is incredible, and it's so complex. They are so amazing and incredible biologically. So we should all appreciate the plants.
We could honestly I could do a whole discussion on plants due to the fact the medicinal purposes of so many plants out there, and so many different things to make tinctures and teas, and like it just like it's mind blowing. Yet that's not necessarily the first instinct that we go to. We go to the first instinct is Western side of medicinal purposes, which is, there's not anything wrong with that. Yet there are other options, and like to be able to see if that might work for you. And so we could have a whole discussion on plants and plant medicine.
Let me tell you a story about that. I have a loved one who has been struggling with a medical condition that's very complex, a neurological, plus extreme endometriosis all over her body. And she's been to doctors many, many times, and they keep all giving her the runaround. And every time they give her a pharmaceutical, it makes her worse immediately within 24 hours. And she can only use THC and the CBD. I don't know what all the other terms are called, but that's all she can use to survive. She has like these mini seizures. When she doesn't take it, she has major ones. She has all kinds of, pulling. She looks like she's had a stroke if she doesn't have this CBD tincture. Pharmaceuticals absolutely do not work in her body. She's probably tried a dozen different medicines, and absolutely none of them worked, and they all made her worse. So she just said, nope, I'm not doing that. CBD, THC, that's what I'm doing. And that's what she does. And it keeps her functional. Like she still can live on her own because of it. So everybody's body is different. I believe in Western medicine as a scientist, but I also know they're practicing on us. And so if a doctor pushes something on you that doesn't feel right, you have to advocate for yourself. If you take a medication that makes you feel worse, don't take it. Don't take it. It makes you worse. I know I cannot take narcotics at all. I have had them for surgeries before, and I have been so sick. It's been ridiculous how sick they make me. I cannot take them at all because my body just doesn't process through it. Like pain medicine. And that's unfortunate, because what if like something really bad happens to me, right? What are they going to do? So definitely plant medicine is a thing, and not just THC.
No, like I was saying, the first thing I thought of was like rosemary. I mean, sage. I mean, it's like, you're like, what? It's like, oh yeah. And if you go on, there's so mullein. Like there's
Nisi wants to know if you took a picture of the tree.
What'd you say?
Nisi wants to know if you took a picture of the tree.
Oh, I sure did. I did. Now, where I can find it, because these phones and the computers and like, but I can still see it in my mind. But I did. Not only did I take a picture of the tree, but I even took a little selfie with me in the tree, like to make sure me and my buddy were like, but yeah,
because that was 14 years ago. So that, who knows where it is, because you probably didn't print it. Nobody prints anything
No,
anymore,
but I
right?
know I could find it. But
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
I do absolutely have a picture of this tree. And I remember thinking, like, you fell in love with a tree and being like, I did fall in
I
love
can
with a tree.
totally see it. I
And
can
then
totally
having this
feel that.
whole love of, I mean, it was a very, it was quite an experience, like being so open to that and being like just receiving what was going on and like having this pure love. I mean, it was, it's very interesting. It's kind of the same thing as like, I mean, that's when I do a lot of interesting things. This was how many years ago at the one place I was staying at, and asked them if I could get on the roof to put my crystals. And they're like, what? And I was like, yeah, it's a full moon. I really need to get up there and be able to put my crystals. And they were like, okay. And so the hotel like walked me up to the top and I could just laid out all my stuff. And then I went down and then I had to go find someone, right? It wasn't accessible to just anyone. Like I had to get special access. But I mean, that was my era of really seeking and being way open. Not that it didn't happen before or after, but I just remember that was a really big calling where I was very tapped in, extremely tapped into like nature and to like, I mean, I can't wait for this full moon coming up to make my moon water. I can't
And you
wait.
know what? It's on April 1st.
I know. I'm counting the days so I can make my moon water and get my crystals charged up. So, I mean, and that's the moon and the sun. And like, even just something as simple as like, we're talking about nature. And then, sorry if I sidebarred, like watching the sunrise and watching the sunset.
Like everybody knows that watches my Instagram or Facebook stories. I have an unhealthy amount of pictures of the sun and the moon. And on my way home from my granddaughter's birth the other night, the moon was setting. It looked like a little orange smiley face, a little crescent moon. I was trying so hard to get a good picture of it. And I got one. It was a little blurry because we were in the car on the highway. So it was like, but I got one and it was blurry, but I did it and it was amazing. I want to say hi to Carrie Hart. Hello, Carrie. Nisi said she loves to garden, and I have turned all over my house. I have something all over my house. I love plants and I drink tea. Also, I drink peppermint tea when I don't feel well. Yes, yes, yes. Teas are so powerful.
Very.
I will tell you this, anybody who has had some kind of cold or flu or sickness, get tea with rooibos in it. Rooibos. It usually comes in a red tea. I swear by it. My husband and I owned a coffee shop 28 years ago or so. And I discovered that rooibos tea there, and I still to this day buy it. And I always have it on hand because that stuff makes you feel so much better really fast because it's a powerful whatever's in it. It's amazing.
The things that are out there available for tea and the medicinal like effects about them can make your head spin because there's just
because
so
humans didn't have pharmaceuticals before the past 100 or 150 years, whatever it's been. Everything was teas and herbs and oils, all of it. Ancient people survived because of the medicines they made from nature. We are from nature. Everything out there, there's a cure for everything in nature, but the pharmaceutical companies want to make money. So they push you to take this pill, which is going to give you anal leakage and a heart attack and a rash. And you're like, I just have a headache. I don't want anal leakage and a heart attack and a rash to get rid of my headache, right? Like the side effects from these medicines are sometimes way worse than what they're curing or supposed to cure.
And a lot of times too, it's not saying yes about the pharmaceuticals, yes about the Eastern side, and not, something to look at with regards to yourself. It's not for me to say. A lot of times people will also go in that direction because they want a quick fix.
Yes.
And that's the truth. They don't really want to do their own research, or they just want like, I got this problem and I need you to help me. So what do I do? And there's nothing wrong with that. But at least, when you're in an opening up to look at things a little differently, that's when I think you can really see that within yourself when you're like, well, I just kind of curious what else there might be out there. Like just the inquiry of like trying to find out different things that are available to try along with it, right? To see whatever is working. Because I'm not going to be an advocate for anybody, what they have to do. I'm an advocate for myself, and I personally don't choose or walk down that path.
Right.
I like to find another alternative. And I also like to find the mind connection to whatever ailing me, because there is a connection in the
Always.
emotional component. And so that's how I show up for myself and do things. And there's no right or wrong. It's whatever kind of works for you. But like plants are, ooh, I mean,
Yeah.
they are powerful.
Very. And somebody asked me if the tea gives you energy. Rooibos doesn't have any caffeine in it. The rooibos. Now you have to check the package because there's different combinations, but the rooibos itself has no caffeine. So there's different versions. So if you want the energy, make sure you get, maybe mix it with some other tea with caffeine. If you don't want the energy, rooibos itself doesn't have any caffeine. And then Wisdom Seeker said, what does it taste like? Every version of the red tea, the rooibos I've had, is delicious. I don't even put sugar in it. And I just warm it up, warm a cup, put it in, drink it plain. They flavor it well. It has a good flavor. You can get different versions. Hi, Janet, Miss Jackson. Hello, good morning. Nisi said, I agree with the quick fix. That's why I like tea. So I will say there are things in our lives. Sometimes you have to have surgery. My husband had cancer 2 years ago. He couldn't just be like drinking a tea for his cancer. It would have killed him. He luckily didn't have to have chemo or radiation. Thank God. They got all the cancer out and he's been fine ever since. And I just recorded a podcast with medium Pam Sears, who has had stage 4 cancer twice in her life and has never had chemo or radiation. She does other things. She didn't go into detail, but you'll see that Friday on the Soul Twin Stars podcast. Ooh. And she's had, I'm sure you could contact her and ask her if you know anybody struggling with this, but she's had, I want to say she said 7 years since her stage 4 cancer diagnosis, and she's fine because a lot of it is mindset. And I know another medium, Christy Godwin, who's had stage 4 cancer probably for 6 or 7 years, and she hasn't had chemo or radiation, and she's fine. Because they're doing other things that are alternative. Now, I am not a doctor, and I am not recommending anybody do anything. I'm just saying there are cases of people where your mindset cures you. And I believe that. Now, I will say I had very bad problem in my uterus a few years ago, and I was hemorrhaging. Like I was going to bleed to death probably. So I chose to have a hysterectomy. Come to find out I had precancer in my uterus and tumors and fibroids and endometriosis all over the inside of my body. And I had no idea any of that was happening. It just suddenly hit me one day. So I chose Western medicine to get that all taken out. They didn't get it all, unfortunately. So I still have some endo in there. But, if I have to have another surgery, I might, but I don't feel like I'm going to have to. So you have to
do what's best for you too, to be able to, because, I definitely had a medical situation 4 or 5 years ago, and I chose the Eastern side completely and worked with an osteopath regularly. And now he refers to me as his miracle case. Now, is that the way it works out for everybody? No, it's not but it was my choice. And I am grateful as I was walking through it while everybody was pounding me with going to Western. And I was like, I'm not against it. I just want to try this. Like with my research and with everything that was going on, it all made sense for me. And so it was a path that worked out for me. And would I be completely against something if something happened to me right now and I need to be rushed to a hospital and be no? I mean, I'm not saying that. However, my approach, if it's not life-threatening in some way, I like to find a different alternative to be able to do that and walk an Eastern path as much as I can for me personally, yet totally understand everybody doing what they need to do for themselves.
So, yeah, I think there's definitely a balancing act. We have Western medicine for a reason.
Yes.
But we don't have to do every single thing they recommend every time. Find out what feels right for you. And like you said, as long as it's not a life-threatening emergency, like if you had a heart attack, you're not going to drink a tea and be like, I'm fine.
Probably not. Now, I might after I get the diagnosis and leave and they have all the right, I probably would, but I'm not, no, that's not.
Yeah, I agree completely with going as natural as possible, as needed, if you can. But in my case, I had to have that uterus out. Like it was
what works for you. I mean, everyone gets to like, so
I think if you were, had that heart attack, you'd be like 911. let's get me fixed.
Probably, maybe. Depend. It depends on where I'm at in my life. If we're talking a heart attack at like 85, like
yeah. I mean,
but yes, I'm not anti anything. It's just, and I don't like. It's just my path, which sometimes
and everybody's path is different.
Yes, and everyone should get to have a choice of what they want to do and how they want to be able to do it. And a lot of times, it's the uncertainty makes people very uncomfortable. And so they want to be able to have you walk a certain path that they feel can be a little bit more reliable. And to me, the more reliable source is myself. The healing, like our bodies can heal themselves and do a lot of things too if you just stop and leave it alone in a lot of ways too. Like besides adding all the Eastern or Western, like sometimes your body can just like do its own thing if you just let it run its course as well. Not speaking about these big, like don't take this out of context. I'm just saying that there's a combination of all of it together as far as how I view it personally myself. But no, I'm not. We're not against.
Yeah, the body is extraordinary, and and I just want to give a disclaimer here. We are not doctors. We are not recommending anybody do anything or not do anything.
Yeah,
I am a scientist, but I also believe there are scientific facts that are facts, and then there are things that are like, maybe we don't need to take that pill. Maybe we can do this thing. For example, when, we have the measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine, right? There are people who are not vaccinating their children. And now we have these measles outbreaks. It's like and it's killing children because people think, oh, it's going to give them autism. I'm like, that is not what causes autism. I don't believe vaccines cause autism in children. It's just, there's no evidence to prove that. I think autism is an evolution in our species. That's my opinion. I think it's for the benefit of humanity. That is my opinion about that. Now, do I have proof of that? No. But I think vaccines are very important. And if you're going to be around other people in mass, you should get one. Now, should you do your research and find stuff out about it? Of course you should. Should you just take something that was created 5 minutes ago? Maybe you should wait a little while and see how it goes. Because people can have bad reactions to vaccines. When I had my kids vaccinated when they were little, we had to stay in the doctor's office for I think an hour after they got their shots every time to make sure they didn't have a bad reaction. Because of course, there are cases of that. And that's true with anything. Kids are allergic to peanuts. Kids die from a peanut allergy. Are peanuts a vaccination? No, they come from nature. Why are we allergic to peanuts? Who knows? Peanuts can kill you. So we have to think critically. And a lot of what's happening right now is there's a lot of noise out there and a lot of false misinformation and a lot of people, trying to force their opinions that aren't necessarily based in science. And for me, there has to be gather reliable information, not information off of weird websites, right? Gather reliable information.
I did not bring my charger. I'm sorry. Please excuse me. I need to grab my charger. You continue.
Okay.
Excuse me. I'm sorry.
So gather as much information as humanly possible to make decisions for you and for your family. Hello, Jill. Welcome in. Wisdom Seeker said there are alternatives to many Western medicine treatments. Yes. Nisi said, I agree that with you, Aunt Jen, the body can heal itself. Yes. I think it's a combination of both environmental and the vaccines. I have a daughter with autism, and when she was 6 months, she got 8 vaccines at one time, and after that, she was different. I was young and did not know any better. I think everyone is somewhere on the autism spectrum, and I really don't think vaccines cause it. I don't
That's
see
a
it.
whole nother conversation,
Yeah,
right?
that is.
The whole go on, read another.
No, that was it.
I
That
was
was
just
the
going to talk about wet. I was going to talk about rain. Rain came through to me as far
Oh,
as
and I have water on my list too. Being around water is so healing.
even hearing, like, so I'm very into Hertz music, all the different styles that go along with that. And some of them that I really like is the combination of Hertz music along with the ocean waves. Like
Yeah.
I love seeing. I remember even just asking, like, do you like seeing the ocean or hearing the ocean? And like for me, I'd pick hearing. Like I love the sound of water. Like, I mean, it's very healing. Like whether you have some kind of like fountain in your house, right? Of being able to just hear the water kind of going, having like, the rain when you're outside. Like, I mean, I was taught like, your rain better cover up. Like when was the last time I was out singing in the rain? Like allowing the rain to be able to like, just, the water is very cleansing. So like whenever there's rain coming up, I'm always looking at the cleansing happening around me, around the world, right? The sun is out and it's like strong and it's burning and being able to help you burn some stuff. So even just putting your face in the sun just for 2 minutes, 1 minute, like just being able to just have that rays on you, or having like the water fall on you the next time the rain comes, like, or even the sound, again, the sound of rain, the smell of rain, right? Like, so it can be very, very powerful in hearing. So water kind of came up that I wanted to mention.
Water is wonderful. And my mom used to yell at me all the time when I was little because it would thunderstorm and I would go out into the yard and into the driveway and lay in the puddles while it was lightning, and she'd be screaming, "Nicole, get back in the house. You're going to get struck by lightning." Because I love water. I absolutely love water. I have a pond out back, and I'll just be very vulnerable here for a moment. When I moved to Florida, I did not want to move to Florida. Not a fan of Florida. I hate the heat. I hate just about everything about it. Okay. I struggled mightily emotionally moving here. I cried a lot. I hated the job I got. It was horrible. It was so toxic. I hate the politics here. I hate, just so many things. But I have a pond in my backyard with the new alligator today. And I have trees, and I can see the sun rise and set every day from my backyard. It just so happens to be at the perfect angle. And if I didn't have that to look at every day, I would have probably gone into the deepest depression, because I had access to nature every single day. And I could look at the water, and there's ducks and there's cranes and there's gators, and now we have a snake in our bush. It's wild in Florida.
Oh, snakes make me a little nervous.
Yeah, it comes right up on our little back deck and eats the lizards. And then it was on the chair out there the other day, and I took pictures of it and video of it eating the lizard, and then it went right back into the bush. So, yeah. So, but I had the door closed. So, but nature, that helped me. Like, I can't even express how much looking at the water every day helped me get through that. It was depressing to move from California to Florida. Like, I hated it. I cried for days. And without being able to have access to that water and the birds and the ducks and the trees, I would have been a disaster.
Right.
Nisi said, agree to disagree about the vaccines. I understand. That's okay. Jill said, I'm raising my nephew. He has signs of autism, can't be seen for a year. He struggles every day. Yeah, the long doctor waits are horrific. We need more specialists. There's a lot of resources online. I would read up about it and try to find some some programs, something maybe you can get your nephew into and some help. Maybe there's groups, there might be some groups that you can look into. I'm sure there's Facebook groups and other types of groups. And
And
she said,
one for yourself as
yes,
well, to be supported while you're navigating this. I'm sure there's also groups out there like that, parents or adults that are helping to work with children like that. So that's always a good one too, making sure that you're taking care of yourself as well.
absolutely, all the time. So water is amazing. I want to tell a story about my husband
Okay.
and the tree.
Okay.
So my husband is a year wait list for a child psychiatrist. Yeah, I have a niece who has two autistic children, and she's told me all about all that. I was in the Golden Gate Park at the Botanical Gardens a few years ago with my husband, and we went to the moon outlook place, the Japanese moon garden, I think it's called. I'm sure you've been there, Jen.
Japanese tea garden?
No, it's in
Oh.
the Botanical Gardens. It's like a little,
Okay.
it's a it has this huge tree. It's my favorite place in the whole Botanical Gardens.
Mm.
And we're out there. And my husband is a very manly man and very sporty and muscular. And he likes to do his weights and sports and manly stuff, right? Mow the lawn and be sweaty and stuff like that. And that's great, right? So when we went out there, and he hugged a tree, I almost had a heart attack because it was so out of character for him. But he sensed something in this tree in this moon garden, and he just walked up to it and hugged it. And I was like, this is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. And he's really, over the years, we're getting older, we're in our 50s and we're having grandkids. And it's like, you start thinking about your mortality. And it's like, it's beautiful to see the shift from the material world that we all live in into this more ethereal place where it's like, okay, there's more to this than the grind and the commute and work and pay the bills. There's a much bigger picture. And when you hug a tree or you sit under a tree or you fall in love with a tree, it shifts your perspective on what this reality is.
Yeah, totally. I can see that.
Yeah. And Doug.
Yeah, I was like sitting there being like, oh, go Doug. Go hug that tree. Like that's especially just like instinctually, right? It was an instinct that he had, and he probably didn't give himself enough time to even think about it. He just did it, which is great, right? Otherwise, if the thought probably would have come through, he would have been like in his own head, wouldn't think about whatever's happening. And so it just is like when you're having that kind of call like that, it's great, and it's beneficial to support yourself in that calling to see where that kind of leads you. So I love tree hugging stories anyway, but like coming from where it's coming from, that is a really beautiful story.
Mm-hmm. The best trees in the world that I haven't been all over the world, but the best trees I've been around, aside from the big ones in Golden Gate Park, which I love, Savannah, Georgia, because I lived there for 15 years. Oh my God.
I was there too. Yes, it was
very. They climb over the road, and it's a canopy, and then the Spanish moss is hanging through. Oh,
there's always, it's interesting too, because so when you go out from San Francisco or wherever that area that you're going, if you're going out to Stinson Beach, they're generally people that aren't aware of the area always go, there's Highway 1. It goes right along the road, so you can literally visualize the ocean. And then there's actually another way to get there, and it's over the top, and you go through all the trees.
Yeah.
So even though the ocean is a very beautiful way, and like Aunt Jen always goes the tree way, because I feel like I'm being hugged by the trees, so it's like something that I really, really embrace. I have moved in another direction because I've been in I've been recommended from my father that it's actually not as safe, that road. People can't handle those curves as well. And so he's recommended that I don't do that any longer. So I actually have started doing the ocean way, which is a beautiful way, like a new transition of like, okay, let me look at the ocean while I'm driving. But if you ever go and you love trees, like there is another way to get out there, and it's just, you're completely immersed in the trees. And I've just always felt like they were just hugging me.
Well, it's interesting because the majority of people on Earth live by the water, and that's for a couple of reasons. One, through our, the Industrial Revolution and shipping,
Mm,
people had jobs by the water. And so that's a big reason why, big city centers like St. Louis, Missouri is between the Mississippi River and the Missouri River. And there's a
mm,
lot of ships and boats that take stuff all over the place. It's right in the center. And then Chicago's right on Lake Michigan. Is it
Michigan. Mhm.
and then all the coastlines of our country, big cities, big cities, big cities, big cities, because that's where shipping, happens, right?
Mhm.
And but people want to be by the water,
Mhm.
and it is so healing. The ocean actually this is why people get like addicted to surfing and being in the water, and the
Mhm.
ocean especially. The ocean has all of the micronutrients, the minerals that you need in your body. You can actually buy liquid drops and put them in the bathtub that are pretty equivalent, maybe not exactly to what the ocean has.
Mhm.
And it gives you this energy, right? So surfers want to be in the water, be in the water, be in the water, because they get this high off of all the minerals that they're not getting from their food.
It's so amazing. Salt water,
And
the
it's
ocean
peaceful.
water is like very powerful, very, very, very powerful. I don't like to live more than how many hours away from an ocean to get there.
Right.
Like, just
Mhm.
doesn't, I don't, it doesn't resonate within my body. And now that I'm getting older and realize, seeing different things like, oh, that'll be fun. It's like, how far is that from the ocean? How far am I from, like,
Right.
to be able to at least get there for, to visit
Mhm.
it, be a part of it, to like, so being able to get there within, 3.5 hours now definitely is way better than, like, I just like to be near the ocean. I find that water specifically extremely powerful. Hmm.
Yeah, we picked the center of Florida because hurricanes, and it's safer in the center reasonably. But it's less than an hour to Ormond Beach and Daytona from here. Like I can see the launches from Kennedy Space Center outside. I just walk to my front yard and I see all the launches. Like right, that's
You
how close.
imagine like 20 something, 30, even 35 years ago, you and I sitting around and you'd be able to sit someplace where you could watch them launch. Like you'd be like a kid.
All the time. Like I
I want to see that. It's like, look what you got now.
yeah, it's crazy.
I love
But
it.
the ocean is so close, and there's this nice place called Ormond Beach, which is a little bit, tiny bit north of Daytona, and it's more family friendly, and it's got nice bathrooms and changing spaces and showers to clean the sand off of you. And it's really a nice little place. My husband and I will go in the morning for like an hour or two and then pack a little snack and then come right home. And it's like a super quick little fun morning and then
And it's rejuvenated you. It's
yeah.
filled your tank. It's done so many different things that, like, some of it you're probably not even aware of, right? It's just an instinctual thing, and like you're getting it on, your body's getting it, your mind's getting it, your spirit's getting it, your soul's getting it, like all the different components of it. So I love that for you.
Yeah. Even when we lived in San Francisco, Ocean Beach, it's freaking freezing there. And the
Well,
water is so cold, but I would get in it. I would swim in it and I would get rolled up in the waves. But I was like, I'm getting in the water. And I'm telling you, that water is probably 55 degrees and it's cold. The air is also cold. So, yeah, if it was 70 degrees outside, it was like a warm day.
I don't know if I ever went out into Ocean
Oh,
Beach.
I did
I've
several
been
times.
there. No, Stinson was the only one for me. Like
Yeah.
to get into the water, like Ocean Beach, it was like, no, I am not. No, for some reason, it was just a hard no. But going there, I drive regularly. I go and sit right there to go watch the ocean and hear the ocean when I go into town. Like that's one of my regular pit stops to sit and do calls and to do work, catch up on my work, because work from my car. I love it. So like I love going there, but actually going in the water, I haven't done that yet. So I'll maybe consider a little ocean beach dip one day.
Yeah.
So
Oh, we are at the top of the hour.
we
Dang, that
are.
went fast. Everyone, we are so glad you are joining us today. I will not be live Friday because I will be traveling again for my granddaughter's first birthday.
Yay.
And I appreciate all my members and subscribers. Please subscribe to our channels if you are watching replay. If you enjoy this content, we will be live again next Wednesday. That's the plan.
That
And
is.
Jen, any last words for the collective?
No, just thanks for showing up and supporting us. Thanks for showing up for yourself, just to learn some new information to see how it resonates with you. And I would just encourage you, to go out there and see how nature can help you, whatever that may look like, even if it means just going and playing with some roly-polies. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Whatever
Even
that may look like, just kind of like seeing where if you can get into that space to find out what might work for you, if at all. That's just where we're just putting it out there. These are all ideas of what you could possibly do, and some of them will fit and some of them won't. So see what happens. Try it out.
Exactly. And Nisi said, great conversation. Love you two together. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all. See you guys later.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. Thank you so much.